All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to talk about the importance of pre-drilling when you're running a screw into something. Now, there's a lot of different types of screws out there, but typically when people are going to hang up a picture or screw through a piece of trim work or something, which is not the proper way to do it, but I get it, we all try. There are a few different types of screws you can use. So the most common is a cheap wood screw like this. Hopefully you can see that all right. It's just a plain Phillips head, nothing special, just tapered down to the tip with those teeth on there that you can see. Nothing fancy, right? You can get a whole box of those for dirt cheap. Then you have something like this, which is a decking screw. Now the main difference that I want you to see, yes, where my fingers are at, there aren't threads like there are at the end, but the biggest thing is that little notch right here. So what this basically does is pre-drill the hole for you. When you go to run this in, that spins around as fast as it can, and that little notch acts like a blade cutting the wood out of your way so that hopefully you don't split the wood that you're drilling through. Doesn't always work, but it's a lot better than a cheap wood screw and just shoving it in there. I know how that sounds. So I'm going to show you what happens when we pre-drill a hole and when we don't pre-drill a hole. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is like my second or third attempt at trying to film this, and I can't get a good angle because my setup's not that great. So I'm gonna do it right here, and then I'm gonna show it to you. I know, not ideal. I'm working on it. It'll get better. But basically what we have is just a piece of 2x4. It's not even a 2x4, it's like a 1x. But cheap piece of wood I just had laying around, and a very thin piece of wood that it's going to represent, you know, wood trim or a picture frame or a mirror frame or something that you want to hang up, and you need to run a screw through it to get it into the wall. It could even be something like a decking board, right? Now, I've pre-drilled a hole in it, as you can see, and that hole goes into here. I know there's a lot of holes in here, scrap wood, but it's that one. Not that it matters, but there it is. So, the reason I pre-drill is because if you don't, you know, it just makes sense. The grains in the wood are tightly packed together, as you would imagine. And if you don't pre-drill it, trying to shove something in between those grains, well, they're not gonna bend or move out of your way. They're gonna split. It's wood. And this is an even old piece of wood, so this is hard to use to begin with. It's very brittle and dry and, well, dirty. But regardless of whether it's brand new or old wood, it'll split if you just try to run a screw straight through it. Now, it doesn't happen every time. You can get lucky. But more often than not, it'll split sooner than later. So, pre-drill your hole. It takes like 2 seconds. But I'm going to show you how do you choose the right size drill bit. So, this is the screw we're running in. This is the bit that I used to drill it through. I chose this bit because if I put it in front of the screw, you can see that the only thing that shines through are the teeth. So you can see those teeth shining through beside the drill bit. That's what we want, because that takes the mass of the center of the screw out of the equation and it just lets the teeth grab. So there's a much lower chance of it splitting the wood than if you just tried to shove it in there. So, like I said, I have it pre-drilled. I'm gonna go ahead and run that screw in real quick. I wish I had a better setup so that I could show you guys what I'm doing, but it requires both hands and I need a better stand for that. So, I'm just gonna run it in, show you how it worked. So, nothing special, right? Wood didn't split, nothing bad happened. Screwed it all the way in. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see the screw in there. Didn't go all the way through because we selected the right size. So that's what it would look like if you pre-drilled it. Now, I'm gonna run one in without pre-drilling it and see what happens there and show you the difference. So it's going to be kind of hard to see. And like I said, I don't have the best. But if you look right here, you can see where it started to split across. Now, if I was closer to the ends, this would have split. But you can also see that the wood doesn't go straight anymore. It kind of bulges down a little bit. So this is going to be exaggerated more when you're on the edges of the wood, and it'll actually split it. This is not going to be very stable. And if you look right here, you can see it wants to break right there. So let's say it's not sitting perfectly flush, and you try and run that out and run it back in, it's going to split just like that. Notice how it still avoided this one. It doesn't see this the way it sees this. This is putting tons of pressure on it. This one's not putting any pressure on it. Just the teeth are grabbing. So this is the main reason it's so important that you pre-drill. It'll crack, it'll split, it'll ruin whatever you're screwing into. And well, let's be honest, most picture frames are pretty cheap, so they're gonna split even easier. That's the main things I have to show you guys today. If you're interested in learning more, please let me know. If you want me to go more in depth with things, I definitely can. I'm trying to keep these as simple as possible for the new homeowners and the people that aren't very mechanically skilled and they just want to learn the basics. Why should I pre-drill? When do I not need to pre-drill? When you have a screw like this. You know, sometimes nails are better than screws, and we can go over that in another video if you're interested. But the main reason we need to pre-drill is so that our wood doesn't split. It takes a few seconds. You can get a cheap pack of drill bits for, I don't know what the price is nowadays, probably 20 bucks, but when I bought mine, it was probably 10 or 15, and they've lasted me for years. So if you already have a drill, just grab a set of drill bits and pre-drill. All you gotta do is hold the bit up to whatever you're drilling in. Yes, I know this one doesn't need it, but it's just for demonstrations. See how it completely covers up the center of that? So it's just the teeth. That's all you gotta look for. It really is that simple. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll have another video to release soon. Again, give me your feedback. I'm new to videoing, so I know this video wasn't the greatest, but hey, we're getting there. I'll get better as we go. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like and subscribe. It helps me. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. Thanks.